falling apart. We got to figure out what we're going to do.
So if we don't pay the land off in the allotted time, we can lose all of it.
A family built on faith, trust, and the promise of forever, shattered in front of millions. Imagine the moment Meri's hands trembled as she held the evidence. A ledger so damning it would rip the last threads holding the Browns together. Janelle's voice, usually steady, cracked as she read the numbers, realizing just how deep the betrayal ran. Cody, the man who once claimed to be the glue, now cornered by the very women he'd promised to protect. And Robyn, the so-called favorite, suddenly nowhere to be found, her social media wiped clean, her Flagstaff mansion sitting dark and empty. This isn't just another reality TV scandal. This is the collapse of a family empire, a $5 million lawsuit, and secrets that were never meant to see the light of day. The world watched as the Browns' carefully crafted image crumbled, exposing the lies, the manipulation, and the heartbreak that had been brewing for years. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the truth behind the headlines, the hidden ledger, and the lawsuit that changed everything. Welcome to the story that left even the most loyal Sister Wives fans stunned. Hi friends, I'm Sophie, and you're watching TLC's Sister Wives Recaps. If you love real talk, behind-the-scenes drama, and the truth about what really happened with the Browns, you're in the right place. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Today, we're breaking down the biggest scandal this family has ever faced. Meri and Janelle taking on Cody and Robyn, a hidden ledger that blew the lid off their finances, and the $5 million lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the Sister Wives world. Let's get into it. When Sister Wives first hit TV screens, the Browns looked like a family determined to prove the world wrong. 4 wives, 1 husband, and a house full of kids, all promising that love and faith could hold together what society called impossible. Cody led the charge, always talking about unity, about building something bigger than themselves. Meri, Janelle, Christine, and later Robyn each brought their own strengths and quirks. And for a while, it worked. The public saw a family that laughed together, weathered storms, and stood up for their right to live differently. There were group hugs, family dinners, and those famous couch interviews where everyone seemed to be on the same team. But even in those early seasons, cracks started to show. Cody's attention shifted, and it didn't take long for viewers to notice that Robyn was getting more of his time and affection. The other wives felt it too. Meri, once the legal wife and the original partner, started to look isolated. Janelle, always practical, tried to keep the peace, but even she couldn't ignore the tension. Christine, the heart of the family, began to question her place. Money became a constant worry. The family's move from Utah to Las Vegas and then to Flagstaff put a strain on everyone. Houses were bought and sold, dreams were put on hold, and the financial pressure was obvious. Then came the catfishing scandal. Meri, lonely and vulnerable, got caught up in an online relationship that turned out to be a cruel hoax. The fallout was brutal. Trust was shattered, and Meri's relationship with Cody never fully recovered. Divorces followed. Christine, after years of feeling like an outsider, finally walked away. Her exit was a turning point, not just for the family, but for the show itself. The unity that once defined the Browns was gone. What remained was a group of people trying to hold on, even as the foundation crumbled beneath them. The stage was set for the biggest betrayal yet, and the world was watching. As the ratings war heated up, TLC wanted more than just family dinners and heartfelt confessions. The network needed a new hook, something that would keep viewers glued to their screens. That's when the idea of wife auditions was floated, a move that would turn the Browns' private pain into public spectacle. Suddenly, what started as a show about faith and family became a casting call for Cody's next potential partner. Producers set up a velvet-draped studio, cameras everywhere, and a parade of hopefuls ready to pitch themselves as the next Mrs. Brown. It was reality TV at its most ruthless, and the Browns were right in the middle of it. For Meri and Janelle, the whole thing felt like a slap in the face. Meri, already struggling with her place in the family, watched as strangers were invited to take the seat she'd fought so hard to keep. Janelle, who had always tried to keep things practical and steady, was forced to watch the family's most private struggles become entertainment for millions. The auditions weren't just awkward, they were humiliating. Every question, every answer, every nervous laugh was broadcast for the world to judge. The wives' pain became a storyline, their heartbreak a ratings boost. Robyn, who had once been the new wife herself, found herself caught in the middle. She'd suggested the idea as a way to save the show and maybe the family's finances, but it spiraled out of control. The cameras caught everything: the tension, the tears, the moments when it was clear that this family was falling apart. Even Cody, who had always thrived in the spotlight, looked uncomfortable as the process dragged on. The auditions exposed just how far the Browns had drifted from the unity they once claimed. What was supposed to be a fresh start turned into a public unraveling, with Meri and Janelle left to pick up the pieces of their dignity while the world watched. The reality TV machine had chewed them up, and there was no going back. Meri and Janelle had spent years biting their tongues trying to keep the peace, but the ledger changed everything. When the numbers came out, it was impossible to ignore the truth. Money that was supposed to support the whole family had been quietly redirected, and the trust that once held them together was gone. For Meri, who had already endured public humiliation and heartbreak, this was the final straw. Janelle, always the steady one, realized she couldn't look the other way anymore. Together, they made the decision that would shake the entire Brown empire. They filed a lawsuit against Cody and Robyn. The legal claims were explosive. Meri and Janelle accused Cody and Robyn of financial manipulation, breach of contract, and emotional exploitation. The evidence was damning: bank statements, emails, and that infamous ledger, all showing a pattern of secret payments and backroom deals. The lawsuit wasn't just about money. It was about years of feeling sidelined, lied to, and used for someone else's gain. The emotional toll was obvious. Meri spoke out in interviews, her voice raw as she described the betrayal. Janelle, usually private, went public with her side of the story, sharing how she'd been kept in the dark about major decisions and left to pick up the pieces. The fallout was immediate and brutal. TLC, facing mounting pressure and plummeting public support, announced that Sister Wives would not return for another season. The show that had once made the Browns' household names was over. Financial ruin followed. The family's assets were frozen, legal fees piled up, and the Flagstaff homes that once symbolized their unity were put up for sale. Relationships that had already been strained finally snapped. Cody and Robyn retreated from the spotlight, their social media accounts wiped clean. Meri and Janelle, once sisters by choice, now found themselves allies in a fight for justice. The family that had promised to stick together through anything was scattered, each member left to face the consequences of secrets that could no longer be hidden. The collapse was total, and the world watched every painful step. In the months after the lawsuit, the Brown family's world looked nothing like the one fans remembered. Meri, who had once been the face of resilience, started over in Utah. She poured her energy into her bed and breakfast, sharing glimpses of her new life on Instagram. Her posts shifted from cryptic quotes to candid reflections about healing and self-worth. She even launched a podcast, opening up about the years she spent feeling invisible and the freedom she found in finally speaking her truth. Janelle, always the practical one, focused on her kids and her own independence. She posted photos from road trips, family gatherings, and quiet moments with her grandchildren. In interviews, Janelle admitted the pain of losing her family's unity, but said she was determined to build something real for herself and her children. Cody, once the center of it all but vanished from public view. After the show's cancellation, he retreated from social media, rarely making appearances except for a few tense interviews where he blamed the media, the network, and even his own wives for the family's downfall. The man who once thrived on attention now seemed lost, his public statements defensive and bitter. Robyn, who had been at the heart of so much controversy, disappeared almost entirely. Neighbors reported her Flagstaff home sitting empty, and her online presence was wiped clean. Rumors swirled about her moving closer to family in Utah, but Robyn herself stayed silent, leaving fans to speculate about her next move.